Julie, maybe you could start us off with this one.
I had a prime example this morning of gut and brain, the connection between the two. I think that just like what Billy was saying, that there's more and more information all the time about our gut-brain axis, or how our gut is actually affecting our brain rather than our brain affecting our gut. And there's a nervous system actually in our gut. We actually have this really cool little brain that works sort of independently from our own brain, and it is the nervous system. That nervous system produces about 95% of our serotonin levels. I'm actually I wrote some of this down because I knew I would forget it, so I'm just gonna read it. You guys cool with that? Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So because somebody did ask that about I was looking even down below about the gut-brain axis. So what I wrote was the nervous system of your brain and your gut are connected by neural pathways. But what's cool is that the enteric nervous system located in the gut and is a nervous system that acts somewhat independently. Just one simple little thing that this gut brain does is produce 95% of a chemical that I'm sure everybody's heard about, which is called serotonin. So serotonin is a neurotransmitter that controls and stabilizes mood. And if its levels are altered, it can contribute to chronic depression, anxiety disorders, cause massive sleep issues, chronic inflammation, diseases in the gut, which then lead to all kinds of other crazy immune system breakdowns. But what's pretty fascinating, like Billy was saying, is that the common treatment for depression with people is something called an SSRIs, which is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor drug. That's what they actually use in conventional medicine. So when we look at that if your dog, your cat, your horse, a person, it doesn't really matter, if the gut microbiome is not functioning correctly, and that gut nervous system is not allowing the serotonin levels to balance properly, everything is going to feel the effects of brain health, right? Like your brains aren't going to work properly if the gut's not working. So not only do they go back and forth, but more and more research that we're seeing with the microbiome, we're understanding that a lot of our stuff hits our gut first and then goes to our brain, not just vice versa. So in like inflammatory bowel disease, let's say, they're saying that the levels being the levels of serotonin can start because you're nervous about something. But if it's not actually balancing through the gut, then the two go together. So they're looking at treating depression, anxiety, and IBD specifically with the microbiome. And for dogs, I know Karen, you talked about this too. They've done a study with Bifidobacterium longum. It's a particular species of it, but they're using that in veterinary medicine now instead of using drugs for anxiety and depression. Dogs with separation anxiety, all that stuff. So I think I think when Billy's talking about, it's almost like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like does our stress and how can we not be so stressed? Well, I think that part of not being stressed is whether our gut microbiome is actually functioning correctly. And if it's not functioning correctly, we can meditate, we can do all of these amazing things, which then helps our brain functioning and our central nervous system in general. But we have to work with it as a balance, and we're finding more and more research how important the microbiome is and how directly related it is to stress and anxiety and all kinds of brain health. So it's really important. And I think at some point, we're going to put some strains and species into the chat where they've been doing research with dogs and with people on specific ones that will relate to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Julie.